Hey everyone, it's Vicki Williams, your Tennessee State broker for Epic Realty, and today is Let's Level Up Friday, where I am interviewing top producing solo agents and team leaders from around the country. And I'm super excited to introduce Catherine to you today. Catherine, tell us hello and a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started.
Okay, my name is Catherine LeChot. I'm here in Abilene. I am part of TLG, which Robbie is our team leader. She's on the call with me or call with us. And I got my license in May of 2018. So it's been 7 years. And yeah, I failed my test the first time. So I saw some people who are like, I've been here licensed just for 1 month. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. So yes, that's pretty much it. Abilene is a big military community. My former husband was in the Air Force, and so that is kind of how I got started. We came here. And I was really involved in like spouses clubs on base as a key spouse and just in the base wide spouses club. And once we bought a house, I referred everyone to the realtor that we used. And he was like, well, you should become a realtor. And I was like, maybe I should. I mean, I love people and I love connecting them to things. So it has been a very, I feel like I'm naturally okay at my job.
Definitely are
So,
outgoing and definitely a people person for sure. But as we talked earlier this week, I did learn that you're not super into systems and tech, but that's okay. We're going to show people how you don't have to be to still
no,
find success in real estate. We're going to dive into that today. What did you do before real estate, Catherine?
I did nonprofit work, marketing and advertising and event planning for different nonprofits since I graduated college. That's all I did. So,
And I think a lot of us would agree that being a realtor, you do have to, well, you don't have to, but it is helpful to have some kind of marketing background or experience because a lot of what we do is marketing. We have to market ourselves, we have to market properties, we have to market our services. So there's a lot of marketing that goes into real estate for sure. Okay, so let's get started on some great questions I've got lined up for you today. We're gonna give these agents a lot of good nuggets. So I know you
perfect.
built a thriving business in just a few years. If you were starting from scratch today, what's the very first action you would take to get your first few clients without having to spend a lot of money?
Open houses. I mean, I did open, I mean, and especially moving, if you are not from the area that you're currently living in and you have this mindset of like, well, I don't really know a lot of people, I don't have a listing. Well, guess what? There are plenty of agents that have listings who would probably love a weekend off of doing an open house. And so I would absolutely reach out to an agent and ask them like, hey, I'd love to host an open house, but also be very, very strategic in the open houses that you host. Like where we live, the average price point is still 250 ish, 275. And so try and host one around there because I feel like whatever your average is, you're going to appeal to a bigger audience than a $2 million house. I feel like I'm nosy. I'm going to go to a $2 million open house, but that doesn't mean I can necessarily buy it. I might just be trolling a Sunday after lunch in church. But I would definitely host open houses, and and we talked about this too, is you've got to commit to doing it. You can't do 2 weeks of 4 open houses and be like, oh, I didn't get any clients. It didn't work. That was a bust. I have a client who we went under contract this last weekend. She was a habitual open house goer, and I was doing open houses every single weekend, and I recognized her. And I was like, oh my gosh, didn't you come to my open house on Brentwood? And she's like, yeah, I think I did. And I said, okay. So she still came She wouldn't give me her contact information. It wasn't until the third time I saw her at an open house. She filled it out. She's still Gina, lives in RV Park on Base. That is still her name in my phone. And she bought a house. Her dad is moving, and we go to lunch 3 times a year. And so that has paid dividends for me, great in a friendship, but also repeat business. But it took 3 times of seeing me for her to be comfortable to give me her information at an open house. And that's not like 3 consecutive weekends. It was definitely like a nurture experience, but it did work. And so, absolutely, open houses would be the first thing. And also, Facebook is free. And that's really where I built my business, was on the spouse page. And I will tell you, it literally just takes one person. It takes one. And you make them feel so good, they are going to tell their friends 100%. I still text my clients after we're done. Hey, we're having like a team competition. That is a lie. But I would really love if you could fill out a Google review for me, because, I'm super competitive, and I would just love it if you could fill it out so I could maybe like win the contest this month. Oh, they're more than happy to fill out the review. And when you say like, oh, it's a little contest, then they're like a little more speedy to fill it out. But again, it just takes that one person that's had a good experience to refer a friend, or more than one friend. And those are
So
free
our
things.
intention should always be as agents to not just sell homes, but to cultivate raving fans. Like, you want every client to be your number one referral person. So you have to create raving fans for sure. And you did that with your former realtor. You were a raving fan and you gave them a lot of business. And then
Yeah.
they, in turn, now you're doing the same thing. So let's talk also about some strategic spending, because at the beginning, when a lot of people get into real estate, they are on a budget. It costs money to get your license activated, join the board of realtors, join the MLS, all the things.
Mhm.
So I know you had talked about also doing some strategic Zillow spending. Tell us
Mhm.
what that looks like.
So where we live, there's about 5 Zillow zip codes. Um, and I didn't pay for a lead until 2023. But everyone was like, Zillow. And I'm like, okay, let's give Zillow a try. And so I was paying a pretty good amount for a zip code. But if you are familiar with zip code, or not zip codes, if you're familiar with Zillow or not, I'll give you a little brief rundown. You type in your zip code and it has the average price point in there. And I was in a zip code that had a lower average price point. So I would get a lot of people who were just looky-loos, or based on their price point, they're trying to get out of renting, but they don't really know, or they have bad credit, or all of those kinds of things. So over time, I learned that it's not quantity, it's quality. So I am still doing Zillow leads, but I am paying significantly less for less leads, but the quality is so much better. I would say I'm probably able to close about 50% of the leads that I get from Zillow.
Well, it's
So it is a
interesting
good
that the
investment for
strategy
me.
is it's interesting that the strategy is a little reversed. So with open houses, you want to be in front of your average price point where you're going to get more
Yeah.
exposure. But when you're paying for leads, you want to be very specific about the quality of leads that you're paying for. And sometimes that can mean going into a higher price point or even a different zip code than where your open houses are, because you're spending money for those leads at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to be
Yeah.
very strategic. That's great advice. So let's also talk about something else that you find very important, a key to success. This is a key to success, guys. Those are your little hit there. You talk about consistency and tracking, that
Oh.
even if you have a simple tracking system, that a tracking
Mm-hmm.
system is critical for growth and for elevating, for leveling up to the next level. So how do you what's your tracking system look like? Because I know
So,
you're not
Nathan,
system heavy.
I pulled out years of binders. So you were not planners. So you did not think I was just lying. I write down every person that I talk to. Here's 1 year, another year, another year. And I write down their last name, if they're a buyer or seller, if they came from Facebook, if they came from Zillow. Like, I try and put that information in my planner. I am a paper planner person. I know a lot of people who are they do it on their phones, and that is fine too. You can make a spreadsheet on your computer to track the same thing, but you make a lot in the follow-up. And I think writing down their name, and like I said, how you enter my phone is the way that you will always be in my phone. Like, Carrie Winters is on this call. She's on our team. I have her Carrie Winters golfer, because that's how I met her, was through Robbie. She golfed. Gina RV Park, living on base. It's whatever you can do to help you remember these people, because you talked about it. You're building like a relationship. And in my past experience in nonprofits, it was about connecting people. Like, yeah, I'm selling you a house, but you're looking for a job. You're looking for a good restaurant. Like, that makes it way more than just a transaction and a paycheck or whatever. And so that system really helps me. And then I also have 2 giant whiteboards in my office where I'll write down the month, the address, and what it's closing at. And I have left up 2024, and I am constantly tracking my numbers against last year. And so that is my main way of keeping track of leads.
Which goes to prove that you don't have to be lofty, like wizard, and know your CRM inside and out to still run a successful business. There are lots of different tools that work for lots of different people. There's more than one way to find success in this industry. Right. It's not how you track your numbers as important as tracking them. It's not how you track your touches, is just the fact that you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so you're a testimony to that, because as a power agent, you're doing at least 24 transactions a year or 10 million. And so you're obviously out there doing something right. And I'm so happy that you're opening that playbook and sharing those tips and tricks with our agents on what you do to find success. Let's go back to you talking about your military community, which you talked about at the beginning of this call. You talked about how being involved and tapping into that community helped build trust quickly. And what about those agents that aren't in that kind of a community? How could they still find that in their market?
Well, I would look at, what do you do when you're not doing real estate? Like, are your kids do you have kids? Are they in sports? They obviously go to school, maybe if they're school aged. But like, I mean, and my kids are my biggest cheerleaders, and they will literally say, "Oh, Josh's mom is looking to buy a house. Don't worry, I told them that you're a realtor." Like, they are my little mouthpieces. I have sent folders with them to school to give to their friends. Like, you have a community. It might not be as like, oh, Dias is right here. It's ready-made. But it's like, whatever you find yourself doing when you're not doing real estate is probably your community. And you can create something around that. And I always think it's great if they know you besides being a realtor. Like, again, we've said it over and over already that it's all about that connection. It's so easy when you're already doing it. Like, I already have kids. It's tap into what you already have in front of you. I'm committed to picking back up golf. I played D1 golf at Gonzaga, and so I am like, and I turned 40 this year, so I made a bucket list. And so I'm like back on the golf course, and it's working out for me. Like, I have my golf cart that has my name and that I'm a realtor, and people will come up and talk to me about real estate. They might not turn into a sale right now, but it's getting the association. You're playing the long game. It's very rare that you're sitting next to someone at a baseball game and you happen to overhear their conversation. I 100% will insert myself into the conversation if I hear someone talking about real estate. That doesn't mean they're going to be like, let's go see houses tomorrow, but it's just making that association for them.
And then when we spoke earlier this week too, what I love about, okay, so we know how to get the connections. Okay. We've talked about how to get in front of clients today, how to do open houses, how to buy Zillow leads, how to tap into your community. So we've talked about how to do that. But then once you do that, not everyone finds success in real estate. They're successful maybe at getting to the point of a potential client, but then they don't kind of seal the deal, convert the lead, have that transaction. So when we talked earlier this week, I said, what's your secret sauce with that? And you confessed that you believe in being an extremely thorough researcher. You call yourself a researcher, not a realtor. And what are some quick takeaways that the agents on this call can take from that word, researcher?
Okay, so let's look first at buyers agents because like let's say and don't go to the open house. Robbie knows I did an open house training. My mom is on this call. She is my number one weapon for open houses. I don't know if she just gives off this like warm, trusting, like grandma vibe, but every person who comes in the open house she gets their name, their phone number. If I had blood type on there, I am convinced that she would get them to write it down. But before she goes to any open house, she will say, what do I need to know about this house? Hosting an open house is way more than putting the Sunday 2 to 4, a flyer about the house, and a contact, like fill out your information, give me feedback form. Like you need to know every single thing about that house, whether it's your listing or not, because that is going to set you apart from the 12 other open houses they rolled through today. Do they have a community center there? Do they have a pool? Like we just got this really amazing pool in this subdivision that is unlike any other HOA pool in our entire county. And so I'm always like, have you driven by? Have you gone and seen the lazy river? They want to know HOA dues. Like, so that is all the stuff that I am doing before I ever go to an open house. How old is the roof? Oh my God, if I hear that question one more time, and I'm going to hear it. But you need to know all of that. And Robbie does a newsletter for us. And so I started printing out the newsletter and having like 5 little copies. And I'll say, oh, and hey, and here's some information about like our real estate market. Are they going to pick it up? Maybe. But I guarantee none of the other open houses they went to today has anything else like that. So I'm just trying to do those little things. And those are readily available to you. The seller's disclosure, they should be in your MLS. If they're not, you need to contact the listing agent. Like you're doing them a huge favor hosting this open house for them. But you want to set yourself apart. If you're literally just there taking up space and air, you're not going to see the results. So that's the research part for the open house. And for listings, the state of Texas, you can have 12 million exemptions on your home. And so before I go to a listing appointment, I check, do they have any exemptions? I am shocked how many have never filed a homestead exemption. So I just ask them, hey, is this your primary residence? Well, yeah, I don't own any other homes. I'm like, well, you've been overpaying on your taxes. Fortunately, Taylor County, we talked about this, will pay you back for overpaid, but a lot of counties don't. So you've already just put money back in their pocket before you even list the house. So that has been a big thing. They're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Our old realtor didn't tell us anything about it, whatever. So that, and then also just knowing the neighborhood before you go in there, because I'm sure you've experienced some sellers who feel that their house is worth millions and it's not. Don't you know we just got a new roof and AC? That I'm sure that was really expensive. But like where we live, it's It's so hot today too. But like everyone deserves a performing roof and an AC that works. Like that's part of home ownership, and that doesn't always equate to getting more dollars when it's time to list your home. But some people don't know that, and you kind of got to educate them at the same time. So that's really what I do for my seller portion. How's the market? That's always a question. If you already have done a quick CMA and can say like, well, actually, like average days on market for your neighborhood is bleh, you sound so great, and you're not having to give a value. Never come in with a value before you see the home, because we talked about that too. You just never know what condition it is. If they've done major updates that they really didn't tell you about before you showed up, that's what I do for sellers. For buyers, and here's the other thing. I control my schedule. Here's an example of how I do it. Ring, ring. We'll just give an example. It's a Zillow call. Oh, they want to see 123 Sesame Street tomorrow at 4. Okay, great. Well, while I'm on the call, are there any other houses that you want to see? Oh, yeah, I have a whole list, blah, blah, blah. You find out more about their search criteria. You get them set up in MLS. You tell them, hey, I need you to go ahead and either text me, or in our MLS, you can heart listings. Heart all the houses that you want to see. By the way, the max I show in a day is 8, because they all just kind of run together, because you would be shocked. Some people get like 60 and they like 50, and we're not going to see them all. So I tell them, we see 8 in a day, because they all kind of run together, and they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. And now you have more control of your schedule as well. And it makes it more manageable for what I'm going to tell you. So I map it, I meet them at the first house, and I print off, we have like a little flyer view. So it leaves this whole blank space at the bottom. And I will make any notes about the house, because 8 is manageable to do some research as well. Do they have disclosures already online? Yes. Well, I'm not printing them because that's a lot of paper, but I'm going to look at them. And if the roof was just replaced, I'm going to make a little star and say, roof replaced 2024. Oh, awesome. Oh, is it in a flood zone? Flood zone. Just little things about that. If it's in an HOA, I'm going to put how much the HOA is per year. And then I tell them, okay, when we go, we're going to see house number 1, then we're going to see house number 2. When you go to the eye doctor, they do, is 1 better? Is 2 better? Is 1 better? Is 2 better? And that's how we're going to do this today. You're going to compare house 1 to house 2. If you like house 2 better, toss flyer 1 in the back seat, and let's keep going. Because there is nothing worse than showing 8 homes and dedicating bajillions of hours of research and all of that for them to get to the end of the day and be like, so what was that house that had like that really pretty countertop? And when you print it with like that big blank thing at the bottom, and like take notes, write down your favorite, why you liked that house, more than house number 1. And again, making those tiny little notes. I am not just going to be someone who prints off the flyers, organizes them in the manner that we're going to see them, and say, okay, so what'd y'all think?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to know what to think.
You're adding value. As you're walking through the house, you're able to say,
you're setting yourself apart.
Yeah.
And in the end, and some people, they don't know a dang thing about flood zones. They're like, oh my gosh, this house is flooded. No, actually, that doesn't mean that at all. How much is it now? And that is something I think we'll talk about later. But I, in general, know about how much flood insurance is going to be for darn near any house in Abilene. And so I put about or a range per month.
Yeah.
So they know, like, if I love this house, is it worth $37 more a month? Maybe, but at least they already know that. Yeah. So that is the research that I do. And don't even think I don't look them up on Facebook, because I am for sure looking them up on Facebook.
That's awesome. Then you can find some things that you have in common, and I love that. So that's something I haven't done before, but that's a great idea.
They have kids. They don't have kids. They just found out they're pregnant. You might see that they like to go to the casino a lot. Maybe we can work that into the conversation about pre-approval and like not magically coming into a ton of money or letting go of a ton of money. Like it's just kind of things like that you can work in, but also like, oh, you have kids, so do I. Is school district important for you?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes you feel like we've said, it's adding value. You are so much more. You're becoming their friend. You're not just the person who's struggling to open doors, because that is also my specialty. So it gives you something to talk about when you're fumbling with that darn lock, like
Yeah.
all of those things.
We also talked about building trust and how you do that through having really clear and hard conversations with sellers when they're trying to list for more than what the market supports. But by being able to be honest and upfront and transparent with them on the front end, you build more trust than someone that's just going to blow smoke and say, sure, we could probably get that for you. A lot of agents just want to get a sign in the yard. They want to get a sign in the yard. They want that listing. They want that opportunity to get buyer calls off the sign. They want the opportunity to get exposure. But we talked about the importance of not doing that, the importance of having those hard conversations. And how do you decide, Catherine, when it's time to walk away from a client, and how do you make that judgment and make that decision?
Um, yes. And that is, so I'm an Enneagram 2. I care very deeply about how others perceive me. And so it's become a little more, at first it was more challenging for me to have the conversations. Like if you have a seller who is interrupting you, is trying to drive the conversation, and you're new, and I mean, I brought Robbie along to a lot of my listing appointments at first because I was relying on her knowledge and her expertise and her ability to kind of maneuver the conversation as a new agent, because there were conversations that I had never had the opportunity to have. But I tell sellers like, uh, you know, I base what I'm about to tell you on facts, on what has sold. You might not love what I have to say, and that's okay. And I am happy to list at whatever price you want, but I'm telling you these numbers because I'm trying to avoid issues later. Again, I will list for whatever you want, because I have had people who were like, you told me I wanted to list for more, and you kept telling me this one number. And so they end up listing with someone else. Don't worry. I watch that listing and watch it price drop and feel very vindicated. But it was a missed opportunity for me. So I really have gotten better about saying, this is really what the comps support, but I will list for whatever you would like to list it at. I just want you to know it might sit and everything else. So, and I make sure to put it in writing, so that I can go back and reference it and say, hey, remember when I told you like we should maybe start here and you really wanted to start there? Well, here we are. Can we have a price drop now or whatever? And I had a really hard listing. It was a referral. It had been previously listed with another agent, and they were adamant about not paying a buyer's agent. And that is very hard, because we are buyer's agents too, and I want to get paid. And finally, someone was like, would your people be willing to rent? Now, keep in mind, I have paid to have their yard mowed. I have paid to have their home cleaned for the entire 8 months it has been on the market. And I said, I really think you should rent it, because, I mean, they were fighting over $300 at one point with a potential contract. And it was just like, so I told him, hey, you should rent it. I've got this agent who has a renter. They are super well qualified. Also, I don't do leases. So if you want a real estate attorney's number, I can give it to you. But I think that this is a great option. We can rent it for a year. You can kind of relieve some of that financial burden, and then we can relist. And They are like, we absolutely will relist with you as soon as this lease is up. And they were so appreciative that I had a solution for them, even though it didn't directly benefit me. Um, it helped keep that relationship going.
And maybe next time they'll be open to paying a buyer's agent fee.
Yeah,
Maybe,
maybe next
lesson learned.
in those 8 months of that mortgage payment, they could have paid 4 buyers agents at this point. But
Exactly, exactly. Well,
it's a learning curve for people.
we have a few minutes left. I've got a couple more questions that I really want to ask, and then I want to open it up to our
Yeah.
guests today, that are our participants today, to ask you some questions. What advice would you give to an agent, Catherine, who feels discouraged because maybe they're new and they feel like they can't compete with more experienced agents in this market?
Well, nobody knows you're not experienced. I think we had that conversation, and you might have that imposter syndrome where you're like, do I really know what I'm doing? You absolutely do know what you're doing. I mean, all of that stuff that I just told you, you can absolutely do that and do a great job. Um, you just have to get your foot in the door. And I get not everyone loves to do open houses. Um, or maybe not everyone, maybe you don't even have Facebook. But you've got to find the thing that you're going to commit to. And we talked about that too. I really like quarterly goals because I feel like that gives you enough time to see if things are working, but you have to commit to doing something. You can't be popcorning around and do an open house for 2 weeks and then post on Facebook for 2 weeks and then go back to doing open houses for a couple weeks. I mean, you've really got to commit to doing that. And if go say you're filming a house for like a virtual client, and if you really don't have anything to do, go look at homes so that you know like what is going on in the area that you're most familiar, or that you want to be most familiar with, the area that you want to work in or that you live in, the neighborhood. um, do that so that when you have someone come to your open house, you're like, oh yeah, and there's a similar house, but I love this one because of this feature. I mean, who know, I mean,
I love that
that helps.
advice. Get up, go out, look at homes. You have access, you can make appointments, and it feels productive. It feels like you're doing something real estate related, even if you don't have a client yet. And it really will get you a practice too of opening lock boxes, because believe it or not, that requires some practice sometimes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad luck lately with keys being like really difficult to
Yeah.
turn. And I'm like, I swear I've sold hundreds of homes and I can open doors. Literally, this is the hardest part of the day, is just actually getting in the house.
I carry
Um,
WD-40 in my realtor kit that I keep in my car for that
oh,
reason.
and here's the other thing. And I think Robbie might chuckle a little bit when I say this, and I told you about this. Hit up people for free lunch. And build your team. If you're so worried about people thinking you don't know what you're doing, get with a lender, get with inspectors, get with insurance agents, because they could also be referral partners for you later on. But you want that person. When you get that person at the open house, you want to say, oh, guess what? I have a lender. He's working. Like, this is actually his cell phone. I don't even have his office number. And are you pre-approved? And they might have programs that are super helpful for the open house that you're going to host. First time homebuyer programs, DPA, down payment assistance programs, which I learned something new. I'm happy to share it with you all. If you're using down payment assistance, you cannot use seller concessions to buy down your rate. And I didn't know that. So I learned that this week. Or like we have a bank here that has like a doctors and teachers program or something for a special rate on a loan. So maybe if you are hosting an open house in a higher price point, like get with them, have them help you with your marketing. That's what everyone wants to know. What are rates today? Well, I don't know, what's your credit score that's not from Credit Karma? Maybe, I don't know, but put that on them and they can make you a cute little flyer, or maybe they'll host the open house with you, or,
Yeah.
all of those kinds of things.
So start building your vendor partners and getting those relationships
Yeah.
really tightened up so that you're ready for those clients you're going to be onslaughted with.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. If you could give agents listening just one action item to do before the end of this weekend to move their business forward, what would it be?
I'd say start tracking what you're doing. It's not even like,
Okay.
I'm not even telling you pick something. I'm just telling you to track it. Like, if you're not tracking what you're doing, what are you doing? And I'm notorious for writing down the wrong actual sales price. And Robbie and I will argue about the total volume at the end of the year. But I can tell you where that lead came from and the month it closed. I might just be off by $999 on the sales price. But I'm tracking it. I'm still tracking it. Like, just track it, put it down.
Run a
Um,
business. Run a business, not a
Track your
hobby.
open house. If you're going to do open houses, start tracking the price point and how many people you had at that open house. Did you have more people on Saturday or more people on Sunday? What if you partner with a lender and do like a sunset happy hour? What, like, happy hour / open house? I mean, the opportunities are really endless, but don't feel they're so endless that you're paralyzed and don't do something. Pick something and track it for the 90 for the 12 weeks for the quarter, and then adjust. Or maybe you'll feel like, okay, I've kind of got into my rhythm with open houses. I want to start doing more social media posts or whatever, and work that in. People are
Great
really into the
advice.
Cowboys. So when that starts, people don't host open houses on Sundays here. But I mean, it's just kind of those random things that sometimes you don't think about, um, that can help when you're kind of starting to schedule and track and that kind of stuff. But start tracking, track something.
And when you're writing down these things, when you're writing down what you're doing, you'll actually be more inspired to do things because
You
you're
might
putting it on
find you're
paper
not.
in your own handwriting. So, you don't want to have an
Yeah,
empty space for the day and go, oh, I didn't really do anything for my business to move my business forward today. That's a hard thing to accept at the end of a work day or work week that you really didn't do
do
anything.
anything.
So write it down. That's great advice, Catherine. Okay, we've got about 6 minutes left. So I do want to just thank you again for all this great wisdom and your inspiration to help other agents is obvious. Like you definitely come from a place of care and compassion and willingness to help. Are you an area leader also, Catherine?
I applied
You'll be
and I'm
one.
in the
You're gonna
class.
get it. You're gonna get
I'm
it.
I'm in the class, so we'll see. But also, don't um whatever you learn, even if you're a single agent or you're on a team, like, please don't gatekeep that information. It doesn't. What is that? Oh, that saying is, collaboration happens at the top. um it is not going to hurt you if you share with another agent something that you learned. um or like, hey, I had a really banging open house because I had these cute little giveaways that I got at the Dollar Tree or whatever. Share it, because one, they're going to look forward to working with you, and they could, I mean, you're starting to live what you think you're not. Like, oh, I'm not that experienced. You absolutely are. You just figured something out that obviously no one else was doing. You had 20 people at your open house. Like, just feel free to share that information. It comes back to you tenfold.
Love that advice. Don't be the gatekeeper of your success. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, who picked up something new today or something that kind of was an aha moment or a question or a comment for Catherine? Let's pick her brain while we have her for the next couple of minutes. Anybody?
Hey guys, Mindy here in Panama City, Florida.
Mindy?
Um, I mean, I wrote down a lot of good nuggets, but the one that really caught my eye and I was kind of surprised that I've never done this was actually look them up on Facebook, kind of get to know them a little bit before you meet them. That's a genius idea. It also will help you once you get to like, let's say you get them under contract and get them to the closing table. It also gives you a little bit more info on what kind of gift to get them and stuff like that. So I thought that was a great little nugget that I hadn't thought about. So thank you for that.
Yes, that was good advice. Thank you, Catherine. I've never done that either.
Also, if they're like, oh, maybe I should have someone come with me to show. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yes, absolutely.
great advice. Well, does anybody else want to say something? Amber?
I have a question. I love the notebook. I love notebooks. And so I'm
Good.
glad somebody else does that too. And then I was also going to ask you kind of how do you follow up with them? Like do you just keep do you list their name and then maybe go back and highlight them, or like how do you kind of keep track in
Okay.
your notebook?
So I put them, in my handy dandy planner. And then on my whiteboard, hold on, please do not judge my house. And all the lovely people you hear chatting are my great house cleaning crew that helps me so much. But then these are my little whiteboards that I have. So that's last year and that's this year. But over here, I'll put like active listings and active clients. So that I see that it's more of a visual than in your planner. And also with one of the most recent updates for Apple, you can do that send later text. I don't have an Android, so I have no idea. They probably already have that feature. But I will go ahead and pre-schedule texts. I'll do that for inspectors and my little tribe of like my lenders and stuff. If I am going to bed at night and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to ask them about this and now it's 10 o'clock and I don't want them texting me at 10. I have typed it out and I have scheduled to send it at 8:01 in the morning. So those texts are already going. So that kind of automated thing. And the other thing I try and do with every single buyer is get them in MLS on an automatic feed, like where it's anytime a listing comes available, they get an email. Every time it takes all of my follow-up kind of, and occasionally I'll go in and see what's being sent to them. Because if there is one, I'm like, have you seen 123 Sesame Street? It looks so cute. It looks like it would check all of your boxes. Do you have time to go see it tomorrow at this time? Because again, then you're controlling the schedule, not them. And it's yes or no. If they say no, okay, well, what time works for you? And go from there. But you got to that's a little bit more direct. Before I would be like, what time works for you? Not anymore. I have 3 kids they're all doing so much that I'm like, hey, I have this in the next 3 days. This is my availability. What time works for you? And 100% of the time, they're available when you are.
That is great advice for a new agent to be in control of your calendar early. Also, something else that you mentioned was the sending the text messages at night. I also utilize the send emails later. So you can schedule emails through
Send, yep.
Gmail. And that's something I do quite regularly now is on Sunday nights, I think about the emails I need to send throughout the week as the broker, right? What am I doing as the broker that I need to send an email to my leadership team, or I need to send an email to a new agent, or I want to do this, I want to do that. I'll go ahead and type out those emails on Sunday nights and hit schedule when I want them to go out and set it and forget it. And that is such a life-saving tool as well for those busy agents out there, especially if you're doing your own transaction coordinator work and you want to follow up with title 3 days after your EMD is due in 3 days. Instead of having to remember to request it, type out that email right now to title. Please send me an email verifying you've received the EMD or whatever the case may be. So definitely utilizing automation as much as possible, and these little systems will help you with managing your time and not letting things slip between the cracks. Love the idea about the follow-up with your clients though. How far out in advance can you schedule a text to go out? Do you know, Catherine? Can you do it like in 30 days? Like, hey, this is
Hmm.
your 30-day check-in from your favorite agent or something like that.
Well, let's see for send later. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Mom, you're gonna get it like oh shoot, weeks. I'm scrolling. It's weeks.
Oh, great. So that's great. So even better, like, you know, but you don't want to be too automated to where you lose that personal touch. But there are some times whenever it's really good to use.
Or, like you say, like you don't want it to seem so automated. Look at the day that you're sending it. Is it a Monday? Hey, I hope that you have a great week this week. I just wanted to check in. So instead of it's like, hey, it's Catherine, just want to see if you want to start looking at homes, it's been 30 days. Start with that warm, fuzzy first of like, happy Monday. I hope you have a great week. Just wanted to circle back because it's been about a month.
Love it.
Let's get together and start, let's start looking again at homes, whatever.
Yeah, love that. And of course, CRMs can do a lot of this too, but these are some advice and tips for those that aren't super techy and don't really want to live inside a CRM. I'm guilty of that. I don't use my CRM like I should, and but I do have systems. So, Lauren, are you like, hey, Lauren, what did you get out of this today, Lauren? I know you are a fairly new agent, 1 year in and killing it. Just quit her full-time job to do real estate. So I'm super happy for her. Lauren, what'd you get today?
I do a lot of open houses, and taking the CMA I think is really great because people always question the price, the neighborhood, like what else is sold. So I think that's going to be awesome, and I'm going to add it. And I apologize for the birds. I haven't moved my chickens out of the room yet, so I need to do that.
Oh, no. I don't. Robbie's typing. I don't take the CMA to open houses.
Oh, you don't?
No,
You
I'll
do
bad.
pull
CMA,
for
but
list
you know what's happening. You do a CMA, so you know what's happening, days on
so
market,
you know
that
what's
sort of
So you
thing.
going
take
on
the
in the
information.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sometimes for like my own knowledge, I will print off any other available homes in that neighborhood so that I know what my competition is going in.
Yeah,
that
I
open
usually
house.
have that pulled up on an iPad. Like if
Mhm.
somebody wants to see something else, I pull up the neighborhood and just have them there.
Mhm.
That's good advice. And do
Yeah.
you always schedule yourself a little extra time after your open house to meet a client? Because I would do that when I used to open houses. I do my open house from like 1 to 4, but I would block my calendar till like 6. And if someone came through my open house that was really interested in another home in the area, I would say I could meet you there at 4:15. Let me lock up this house and I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes, I've done that. And here's another thing that I started doing: 1 hour open houses. You cannot sell me on 2 hour open houses anymore. And guess what? Now you can host 2 properties in one day: 1 to 2, 2:30 to 3:30. Now you're getting 2. Because if they want to see that house, they will come when it's open. And don't be scheduling your Saturday or Sunday open house on Friday. You need to know you're doing it Monday so you get maximum time to promote it, get it matriculating to Zillow and everything else, so that people know, hey, Saturday 2 to 3, this house is going to be open. They come.
That drives demand. That drives demand. And then it gets more people through the door at the same time, which drives up buyers wanting to quickly make offers because they see more competition in the door. That's great advice.
So yeah, then you can double up on your open houses too. So that,
Love it.
as a new agent, that can be good too.
Oh my gosh, such great advice. I hear such good things on every one of these calls that I would have never thought of. And there's so many different perspectives on how to do this business. Like someone will tell you on another call, maybe even what I've already had on these Friday calls, saying, I would never do an open house for less than 5 hours. I want to be there 5 hours so I can catch as many people as possible. And Catherine's saying, I won't do it for more than an hour. But there's so many different ways of doing this, and you have to find what works for you. And I love that, Catherine.
And also what is typical for your market. Like
Yeah.
back home 3 hours on a Saturday is very average. But nope. My one
You're
this Sunday
intentional with your
is 2
time.
hours because it's my first one at this address, and I want them to feel really special. But Otherwise, I am doing them for 1 hour.
Who else is going to try that strategy? Would you be more willing to do an open house? Karen Boggs, you raised your hand. Karen, would you be more excited to do an open house if you knew you were only going to have to be there 1 hour
Yes.
instead of 3 on a weekend?
Absolutely, absolutely. I signed up for the show of me, so I'm jumping in on that now. And I thank you, Catherine, for all this great information you just shared. I mean, it's down to earth. I can put it into my life and start doing it. And I love some of the tips you gave. They really just it was like, wow, wow.
See, Catherine, you didn't think you were qualified to do this call today, but look, you're changing lives here, my friend.
Thank you.
And Karen, I saw you on the pre-leadership training too, I thought, didn't I? Aren't
Yes,
you a
ma'am.
pre-leader?
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
thought I
ma'am.
saw
I'm
you there. That's
so
exciting.
excited.
Happy
Yeah,
to
I'm
have
so
you.
excited.
We're building so many great leaders at Epic. I love it. All right. Anybody
So,
else have a takeaway from today or a question for Catherine?
I
Robbie,
just
what
put
did you
my
think of
work
your girl?
number. I
Oh,
put my
thank you,
work number in
Catherine.
there in case anyone wants to text me or
Thank
ask
you
me
for
a
that.
question.
Awesome. Love your heart.
Say that she
Robbie,
wasn't
how did she
qualified?
do?
Did she say she wasn't qualified?
She said she had no idea why in the world I would reach out to her. What would she have to offer?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell y'all something. She went from 4 sales her first year, not on our team, to joining our team in the end of December. So she kicked off the year on our team. In April, she said, I'm going to do $1 million in May. And as a team leader, I thought that's pretty hefty for a brand new agent. But
Hi.
she did it. And she started motivating the rest of the team to do it as well. And that's how the whole million in May began, that we do every single month, and we have the award every single month. So she's very qualified. She's a leader on the team. She's been a leader on the team for years. She's a trainer. So I'm very proud of her. Very proud she's on this call.
She's a great.
Makes me want to cry.
Oh, I love
I
that.
feel like I'm a team leader. I feel like a proud mama moment. I know her real mama's on this call, but I
Yes,
say
my
that with
mom's
my team.
on.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Robbie.
Yeah.
All right. We got time for one more, then we'll close it out. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
I just like the whole consistency of a new agent. I just got off of an agent Zoom before I joined this one, and the 2 things that I stressed most to her was to always be consistent and find something that fits you and do it well instead of trying to do 10 different things that are out of your comfort zone and you're not sure of. Find something that really fits you and do that well. So I like that you kind of highlighted on both of those in this call for the new agents. So consistency, keep on doing it. The fruits in the labor, I promise.
Something else I thought of is if you're really like, what do I do with my life besides going and looking at homes, or if you don't have a ton of clients right now, you need to educate yourself on whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Like I know my contract, my 1 to 4 residential and new construction contract. I know that contract backwards, forwards, and upside down. I've never done a commercial, and I've only done a little bit in farm and ranch. But as a new agent, I remember specifically another agent misguiding me on a contract. And fortunately, I had people that I could double check with. But that is something else. Like get some CE. Do, like help do whatever it is to make you the expert in the field that you're trying to get into in real estate.
Yeah.
Love that advice, Catherine. I could talk to you for another hour or two, but we do have to end this call,
Well, but it is
unfortunately.
Friday.
Vicki, there's one more question
Oh,
in our
thank
chat
you.
box.
Yeah, what is it?
From Kay. She says, one more thing. What would be your advice for a new agent saying that they want the $1 million month?
Oh,
What
thank
did
you so much. From
Yeah.
Candy.
What are they doing to do that? I mean, who doesn't want $1 million a month? But I want to know how you're going to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, then you got to get with someone who can help you and guide you into how you're going to do it.
How
Can
did
you
you
give
do it, Catherine? How did you do your $1 million month in May?
I think I had my first, yeah, that was it. I had my first listing in February of 2019. And I had been doing lots of open houses. So I had a lot of chatter on the spouses page. So I had a lot of buyers. And it wasn't like I woke up and said, I'm going to have $1 million month. It's kind of like a culmination of January through May that got me to that $1 million month. I don't in our market, it's not feasible to say September is going to be $1 million month for me if
you're starting
nothing on the
today,
books.
right?
I would say, hey, let's get $1 million month in November or December. And let's start implementing some things today that's gonna pay off. And then you can consistently have hopefully $1 million months.
Don't take your foot off the gas, guys. When you do have a really good month, don't slow down and be like, I made it. I'm successful now. Now all the business is going to come to me because I've had $1 million month. You still have to do all the things that got you there.
And also January of 2025 was my first month since January of 2018 that I did not have a single closing. So also I was so down in the dumps about it. I was just, I could barely even get up. I was like, what has happened to me? Like you say, oh, you're a power agent. And I did. I had to put that on my area leader training, like application. And I still have done 39 transactions since last September with that big fat 0 in January. But what you said, like you can't let the fact that January sucked keep you or continue. Like February could have been bad. March could have been bad. Like Robbie always says, what you're doing today, you're going to see the results 30, 45, 60 days from now. So you've got to just, like we talked about, you've got to pick something or two things and be consistent and track. Because you might do open houses, but it might come from you might notice, hey, I get a lot of referrals from like my nail lady. Oh, well, maybe I should go to the nail place twice a month instead of just once because I'm getting so much business from there. But if you don't track it, you don't track where your clients are coming from, you wouldn't know.
Great advice. And real quick, Robbie said, tell us how you feel about agents taking off during the holidays.
I hate that. But you know what? It gives me more business. And if you really want your business to take off, schedule a vacation. But I that is like I don't love it. I mean, I love it for me because people are taking off and I'm like, yeah, I can show you that house on the 23rd of December. No problem. I'm not scheduling to go out of town during the holidays because that's when people are sitting around looking at houses and deciding, I want to do this.
Yeah, that's when they have their downtime and they're able to get out and look at homes or list their home or what have you. Okay, well, it is 1:00. I do have to run, but Catherine, thank you so much. You are incredible. You're an inspiration. I will get this replay uploaded and out to the world. And also, when you do see the replay, like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, because we are one of the few brokers out there that I think are really investing in our agents and sharing our playbooks. And we want everyone to be a power agent at Epic. This is not an exclusive club. Everyone can do it. Everyone has the ability to do it. And we're showing you right here every Friday how to do it. So thank you again, Catherine. And Robbie, I'll be seeing you on a future call, I know. Thanks for being here today. Have an amazing weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.